Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm right.
Today, we're talking about the fact that once again, Stephen A. Smith has changed his mind on who he thinks should win Rookie of the Year.
Hmm.
And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit that notification bell when you do. So, 4 days ago, Rob, when we thought the Rookie of the Year argument was over with, Stephen A. Smith brought it up again that Angel Reese could win after she got 22 rebounds against the Aces. So I said, "Oh no, he said she could win Rookie of the Year." She didn't say who was favored. He was vague about it, but he was still saying that. And over the break, he was in the Chicago audience, and he said, "She's balling. She could win Rookie of the Year. She's a walking double double."
Yeah.
So he's been keeping it alive, even though he's not as bad as the bobbleheads over at ESPN, the black females that support Angel Reese like crazy and kind of minimize Caitlin Clark. But after Chicago Sky lost to the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark had a great game on his podcast, not on First Take, he said it's over with. So like 2 games later, he changed his mind. He said, okay, it's over with. And then Caitlin Clark had a great game again against the Dallas Wings. So I guess it's really over with in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
But he was disappointing me when he did that 4 games ago, Rob.
Yeah, I mean that's typical. It's typical Stephen A. Smith. That's why you can't, I can't. Whatever he says is just like he just does it for entertainment value. Of course, he would say that while he was in Chicago. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't have. He probably wouldn't have made it out of Chicago if he had said that Caitlin Clark was going to win the Rookie of the Year. But I mean, why be scared like that? What are you scared of? What are people going to beat you up for saying the truth?
Right. And what was the excuse 4 games ago? Caitlin Clark had a great game that day, that week also. She was player of the week too, so her lead should have been greater than it was before.
Right.
So, but he tries to say credit also. First of all, he keeps saying a couple things that are wrong. He says, I'm the one that first said she's the Steph Curry of basketball. I heard that when she was a freshman. That's how I found out about her.
Mm-hmm.
The person said the most exciting person in women's college basketball is a freshman named Caitlin Clark, and she shoots logo threes like Steph Curry, and she's like the Steph Curry. So I heard that as a freshman. So he goes, I've been saying that since she was a junior. No, you haven't.
No,
you didn't make that up.
No.
So stop it.
Nice try.
And then I will say he said she should have been on the Olympic team. But Rob, the only argument he made was for marketing purposes.
Right.
He never argued that she should for skill and ability and talent and accomplishments, which is why he's having trouble right now talking to the people at the ESPN about how they were wrong, because he didn't say she should be on because of her skill. Like they kept saying, oh, the 12 best players. He could have easily made that argument that she's better than Diana Taurasi at the time. Her stats were better. In addition, Chelsea Gray was injured. He could have made those arguments.
Well, he usually brings up stats when he wants to make a point, and he did nothing of that. He could have just shut them down very quickly. Just read the stats off, boom, 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 and he would shut them all up right there. But he didn't.
I've watched every game of Caitlin Clark's in her WNBA career, and almost every game her senior year, and almost every game her junior. I don't believe he watches much women's basketball, Rob. I think he just sees the double-double stats and said, looks at this and looks at that. And now he's saying, after he didn't make many predictions. He said this girl can ball. That's about all he said. But he didn't make any bold predictions about how well she was going to play this year. Mm-hmm. He didn't say she was going to make first team All-Pro, that she might be an MVP candidate at the end. And now he's going, I told you all. No, you didn't tell us all, because I know what he said, Rob, because I thought he was rather conservative in terms of what he thought she was going to do in the WNBA. He was afraid to.
He was afraid of because he's afraid of the female commentators. With Molly and the other female commentators. He was afraid of what they would say to him because he confronted them, and Monica McNutt, who we don't even hear from her anymore, was kind of going off on him, and he got all scared. But I mean, I'm like, be a man. If you're gonna be a man, step up and be a journalist. Don't worry about what people are saying. Be honest, and you're not. And what you're saying is not wrong. You just throw it in their face. What can they say if you say what you're saying is correct?
I made bold predictions and they all turned out to be right. So I'm going to take credit for that. But he didn't. So quit telling us that you were saying that you thought she was going to be this great this quickly, because you didn't. You didn't even make that argument as part of why she'd be in the Olympic team. And he didn't even bring up the fact that they were holding her down for all the obstacles that she was up against at the time. He didn't even make intelligent arguments like that, Rob.
Oh,
So
Johnny come.
I don't want to hear it about, hey, I told you so and stuff like that in his podcast, because he didn't.
He's a little Johnny come lately. Well, yeah, oh, geez, yeah. Well, come on.
Johnny come, Stephen come lately.
Yeah, whatever. It's like, come on.
I had another point.
Just own up to it. You know, just own up to it. And no, you're not watching the games, obviously. So just say I'm not watching the games. I'm just looking at what's happening. So
now I will give him credit for arguing with Sheryl Swoopes, or at least criticizing Sheryl Swoopes, because when she went through a whole podcast and talked about how Indiana Fever is winning, and then mentioned 3 players on the Fever, but did not mention Caitlin Clark, he said that she was crazy, and that basically he said to her, "You are insane." And then she called him out and said, "You're a coward." And now they're arguing back and forth, and Stephen A. Smith snapped back at her again in his last podcast. So I give him credit for that. But she's a pretty easy target, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's too easy. Yeah, she's too easy. Because she is insane. You know, and that's probably why she didn't get to broadcast that last game with the Wings. Because finally, I guess the Wings or the league is starting to realize that she's not dealing with reality, so we can't have that.
And I covered this in one other video, but I want to cover it again because Stephen A. Smith has now said this twice in his podcast. He said, and Caitlin Clark was doing this to her opponents when she was cooking them. Okay, so first of all, she did it once and not twice, and she did it during the game, not after the game. And also, it's unclear who she did it to. She says, and Haley Van Lith says, she did it to her strength coach. Now, I want to be objective about this. She was coming out of the huddle with her back to the bench, where I would think is the strength coach. Shortly after that, Haley Van Lith walks by in the direction where she did this for just a second. So I'm not convinced that it was to her strength coach. But be that as may, she did it for like a second, one time, and that's it. And I want to make that 100% clear. She might have done it to her strength coach. I'm just not 100% sure she did. So I want to be fair about this.
But the main thing is that she didn't do it twice, and he keeps bringing it up.
She did it one time, and it was in a huddle, and it wasn't even like in someone's face or anything like that. It wasn't in anyone's face. Her teammates were around her.
And it's funny, Mark, that same gesture when Reese did it actually made her famous. Brought her to light. Right.
So, but quit saying that Caitlin Clark did this to her opponents. It happened one time, and it might not even been to an opponent.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Okay, so anyways, Stephen A. Smith is now being all blustery, saying he had it all right about Caitlin Clark all along, which I want to make this quite clear. It is not true. He did not make any bold predictions about that. He said she could ball and all that, but that's it. He didn't say she was going to be an MVP candidate. He didn't predict she was going to be first team All-Pro like I predicted, and all those sorts of other things.
Because that's what he does. See, Mark, that's what he does. He'll say stuff like that. He'll say this person, this guy's a good ball player. And then when they come back, I didn't say that. I just said that he was a baller. I didn't say he was the best player. I just said he was a baller.
And he had chances to say things that he's claiming he said when she wasn't chosen for the Olympic team. He'll say, well, she just started her career. She's going to play better. You can see that. You can see her basic skills. They translate, all that kind of stuff that he could have said. He did not say it at the time. That's why I'm calling him out on this.
Yeah.
I'm calling about the fact that he's bragging, and he's bragging improperly because he's exaggerating what he said about Caitlin Clark and her potential and how well she was going to play. Because I know I listened to the excerpts about First Take when they talked about that, and other times they didn't talk about.
Say her name, Stephen Smith. Say her name. So
quit trying to brag and take more credit for your prediction about Caitlin Clark you did, because you weren't. He wasn't a hater, Rob, but he wasn't a big predictor or a big lover either. Like
he was on the fence. He was wavering on the fence, seeing which way the breeze was blowing. That's what he was doing.
Right. He didn't say things like I said, like when she was still a senior, I said she's the best passer in the history of women's basketball as a senior. I said that. And I said she's going to be the best passer in the WNBA, and she's going to be the best point guard in the WNBA. I said all sorts of things, and she has the potential to be the greatest player of all time. And I still think that you could make the argument she's the best college player of all time. He didn't make any of those statements.
Especially with the passing mark. She's astonished even though you said she was the best. So the way she's passing, even is astonishing you and me too.
Rob, since the break, it's even better, Rob. I don't know what to say. She's
Yeah.
at another level. Someone made a video recently saying that she's too smart for the WNBA and that she actually is the MVP right now. Someone broke down all her film and said, this is why she's the MVP. I didn't go that far with it, but I'm saying, she's right up there right now. And it's
in the running for it.
She's in the running. So anyway, I'm going to give Stephen A. Smith some props, and I'm also going to tear him down some, which we should, because his ego is huge. So anyways, that's my take on Stephen A. Smith. And if you agree, subscribe to the channel. If you don't agree, subscribe to the channel. If you like Rob's blue shirt, subscribe to the channel.
If you think he's a phony, subscribe to this channel.
Someone subscribed to the channel because they liked your green shirt the other day when I brought it.
I saw that. I appreciate that. I thank them for it.
We're going to be live on Wednesday for the game against Los Angeles Sparks. It's going to be at 7:30 on CBS Sports Network. Join us for that. And we're going to be live next Monday, the 9th, for our normal live show from 6 to 8 Eastern Time. You can call in for that one. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to donate to this channel, you can with super chats and super thanks down below. And link to PayPal. All right, we'll see you next video.
I forgot to do my subscribe. Oh, my gosh. Okay, there.
Subscribe. That's right. We're over 4,000, so we're going for 5,000 now.
Yeah, I was doing 5.
5,000. You can see Rob had those big thumbs. That's why he was a good basketball player.
Yes.
All right. And anyways, we'll see you in the next video.
All right. Peace out.